Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of 30 days of festive recipes. So today we're going to be making some beef mshikakis. Mshikakis, I don't know how you guys pronounce it. I say mshikaki. It's a great starter when you are hosting, especially in this festive season. So let's get to it. So for the ingredients, of course, the main star of the recipe is the beef, and we're using beef steak, and I bought beef sirloin steak. And then we are going to be using red pepper and an onion just for color, but if you don't have this, you can just do the meat alone. And then we have the skewers, and I've already soaked them. It's usually advisable for you to soak them so that they don't burn when you are cooking the mshikakis. Then for the spices, we're keeping it very simple. So we have, of course, salt, black pepper, some garlic and ginger paste, and then we're going to add a bit of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, you can use vegetable oil. And then I like adding a herb, so I'm adding thyme, but I actually prefer rosemary when it comes to the mshikakis. I just didn't have rosemary, so I'm using thyme. And then we're also going to add a splash of balsamic vinegar, and then we are also going to add brown sugar to just balance out the sweetness and everything. So we'll first start by chopping the beef into small sizes, like bite-size sizes. Let me get a knife. Now it has a bit of fat. I don't want to remove that. This is also fat, so I'm not going to remove it because it will help our steak still be moist. And who doesn't like a fatty bit? Personally, I love those fatty bits. So the size should be like just a good size, not too small, not too big. If you want, you can trim down the fatty bit, but personally, I'm not going to do that. Steak cooks very quickly, so this will come together pretty fast. When you're doing starters, you want something that won't take a lot of time, so that you're able to concentrate on the main dish. You also want to ensure that you cut your meat get them to be the same size, as close as possible, so that they all cook at the same time. So this is a lot of fat, so this is just going to melt away, so I'm not going to put that in there. So we'll put this aside, and then we're going to cut our peppers. If you have the green pepper, then definitely use that. If you have the yellow and the red, that will also add a really good pop of color. So we're done with the pepper, so we want to do the onion. We're also going to cut big chunks of the onion. Remember, we are going to, the onion is also going to be in the skewer, so if you cut really small, then it will be difficult for you to stay on the stick. So we'll just separate the layers. So we'll do the same to this other one, separate the layers, then we'll come back and marinate the beef. Okay, so for the marination, we are going to add a bit of olive oil, some garlic paste. I love garlic, so I'm putting a generous amount. And then black pepper, salt. We're going to taste this, so that's why I'm mixing it on the side as opposed to just adding everything into your meat directly. It's always good to taste your marination so that you know if everything is balanced. A bit of brown sugar. The sugar is also going to help us get that nice caramel color. Then our balsamic vinegar. Mix everything together, then taste. A bit more vinegar. And just a tad more sugar. Some salt. Yes. So now we're going to marinate. So let me just get a container. So we'll put our meat in there. I'm wondering if I should also add the vegetables. I think I'll do that. So that they all get that, the marination. And we'll just mix. And we let this sit for about 15 minutes. then we will put them on the skewers and pan fry. You can grill this, but I'm going to be pan frying mine. So we'll come back after 15 minutes and then we'll proceed. Okay, it's been 15 minutes, so now we are going to start threading the meat. So I'm just going to be alternating meat, onion, the pepper, then meat. Basically, for me, I prefer the meat being a lot. And since they're just starters, we don't want it to be too much that people will eat and not be able to eat the main meal. So I think you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 pieces, like that. And as I'm doing this, I've already started preheating my pan because I want it to be really hot so that the meat doesn't take too long on the pan and dry out. We don't want that. So we're going to be cooking this using high heat. So I'll do the rest and then we'll proceed to cooking them. So our pan is super hot and now we're just adding a bit of oil. And that's it for today, guys. Ensure that you use a steak and not boneless meat, because steak is not a tough cut of meat, and so it will cook faster and you'll have a better experience eating this. Also, don't forget to soak the skewers so that they don't burn, especially if you're going to grill them in open fire. Then ensure you use high heat so that your steak does not dry out. Otherwise, until the next episode of 30 Days of Festive Recipes, goodbye.